Hello guys, in this video, you will see what is the top 10 best ground units in update 13.5. All units in this video are all obtainable and not from trading. I do want to know what is your top 10 best ground units in update 13.5. Remember to subscribe and like, and with that being said, in no particular order, the first unit is Lao Room. Law is one of the best ground and support unit in this update 13.5, especially with his OP ability. Lao Room stats at max upgrade and max set level is 150,141 damage with his SPA at 5.9 seconds, making his damage per second at 25,447.62, which is incredibly overpowered for a support unit, as he has an ability at placement called Shamble, where when activated, it teleports enemies back half of Lao Room's range. So if Lao Room has 10 range, Shambles will teleport enemies on half of his range. The Shamble ability affects air, ground enemies, and bosses, which is insanely strong. Lao Room is incredibly easy to evolve, as you just have to continuously defeat the puppet portal, which are easy to defeat even if you are soloing the portal. The best trait you can have on Lao Room is unique, as he is 3 placement, and an alternative trait you can have on him is Sniper, so he will be able to teleport back more enemies with his huge range. Lao Room's damage type are magic and light. Okay, next unit is Luffy Gear 4. Luffy is one of the best ground units in this update 13.5, especially he is extremely cheap to max upgrade, and at later upgrades he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies. Oh my goodness. Luffy Gear 4 stats at max upgrade and max level are 205,719 damage with his SPA at 6.4 seconds, making his damage per second at 32,143.59, which is incredibly overpowered, as you can place 4 of Luffy Gear 4. Luffy Gear 4 at later upgrades will be able to hit both ground and air enemies, which is insanely pog, although he is no longer a multi-hit at his last ability, so he will struggle against shield enemies. Luffy Gear 4 is incredibly easy to evolve, as you just have to continuously defeat the puppet portal, which are easy to defeat even if you're soloing the portal. The best trait you can have on him is Divine, as he is 4 placement, although if you are going to be using Luffy Gear 4 in Infinity Castle, then the best trait you can have on him is Unique, which is Luffy is insanely strong, insanely good for Infinity Castle, and how cheap he is to max upgrade. Luffy Gear 4's damage type is physical. Alright, next unit is Melia Soul. Melia is the best ground boss killer, and especially this unit is the best ground unit for Infinity Castle in this update 13.5. Melia's assault stats at max level and max upgrade are 206,171.06 damage with his SPA at 9 seconds, making his damage per second at 22,907.9. He also have a 50% crit, which double B times his damage will crit, and having the nail relic on Melia will be the best relic to equip on him. Evolving Melia Soul is by defeating the Fabled Kingdom 10 Commandments legend stages, which are difficult to do if you're a beginner, so do get players to help you finishing them. You can place 3 Melia's Assault, and Melia's costs 84,800 yen to max upgrade, and also, since he is a 3 placement, the best trait you can have on him is Unique, and his damage type is physical and dark. Okay, next unit is Asin. Asin is one of the best ground unit, magic ground unit in this update 13.5. Especially, Asin will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades. Asin is one of the hardest units to evolve because of how his evolution works, as it will require kills and worthy souls. Asin is meta ground for Story Mode Axe, Infinite Modes, Infinity Castle, and Leaderboard runs. Asin final stats at max upgrade and max level are 249,567 damage with his SPA at 15 seconds, making his damage per second at 16,637.8. If you are ever doing leaderboard runs, then I definitely recommend trying to get unique trait on him, since he is one of the best units to have unique on when going for leaderboard runs. Finally, Asin final also has a manual ability called Tandem Saman, which causes the opponents to be pushed back and shielding your base. W man. Alright, next unit is Homuru Time Traveler. Homura is the new secret unit added in this update 13.5, and she is one of the best ground unit, with her being one of the best units to have, especially with her time stop and amazing stats at later upgrades. Homura Time Traveler stats at max upgrade and max level are 115,142.85 damage with her SPA at 6 seconds, making her damage per second at 19,190.48, which is insanely strong as she will be able to hit both air and ground enemies with her attack and an ability. And at the last ability you can get on her, you can activate her time stop every 15 seconds. How to get Homuru Time Traveler is through the Wish City Walpurgis secret portal, which you can craft using 4 time traveling shards. And you can get these time traveling shards through the tier 5 and above Wish City portals. The best trait you can have on Homuru Time Traveler is unique trait, as you can place 3 of her down, although the traits I would rather have on her is Godspeed and Divine, as it will give her more DPS, or range and sniper will also be good on her. If you didn't know, you can sell and replace and spam her time stop ability, which is insanely strong for tournaments. Homura Time Traveler's damage type are physical. Okay, next unit is Pride the One. Escanor is the best ground unit in this update 13.5 with his insanely overpowered late game stats, with Escanor having one of the biggest full AoE circle and having a low SPA cooldown and insanely strong damage per second. Pride the One stats at max upgrade and max level are 57,525.41 damage, following his SPA at 6.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 8,850, but with Sunshine passive max, his new damage per second is 19,921. At later upgrades, he will become a hybrid unit, making him attack both ground and air enemies. I suggest placing Pride the One as soon as possible, as he buffs himself permanently from placement for 15 waves. The best trait you can have on Pride the One is unique, and alternative traits you can have on him is double snipers, divine, and Godspeed. Pride the One's damage type are physical and fire. I only recommend to bring Pride the One in waves that are 20 or longer, and he is meta for this week's tournament. When is he ever not meta in tournaments, bro? Alright, next unit is Flamingo Awakened. Flamingo Awakened is one of the new units added in this update 13.5, and he is the best magic ground unit with the highest damage per second. Flamingo Awakened stats on max upgrade and max level are 336,140 damage with his SPA at 7.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 44,818.66, which is incredibly good. Despite of him not being able to hit air enemies, this Flamingo Awakened is extremely overpowered for a ground unit. How to get Flamingo Awakened is by defeating the new Puppet Island Birdcage, the Puppet Master, where the host will be guaranteed to get the unit, where the others will have a slight chance. To get the secret portal is by defeating the normal Puppet Portal, which can be obtained through the Puppet Island Infinite mode, and it has been a long time since we got ourselves an insanely overpowered secret unit, so I definitely recommend getting Flamingo, as he is insanely good for a ground unit. And get Homura-chan too. Okay, next unit is Tango God of Flashiness. Tengen is one of the best ground units in this update 13.5 because at later upgrades, you will be able to hit both ground and air enemies, which is insanely overpowered. Tango God of Flashiness stats on max level and max upgrade are 224,526 damage with his SPA at 11 seconds, making his damage per second at 20,411.45, which is incredibly good, especially with his full AoE, although his range is terribly bad. Despite of Tango God of Flashiness having such a terrible range, the unit itself is still pretty strong, especially at later upgrades. You'll be able to hit both air and ground enemies, as well as having the nail relic equipped on Tango God of Flashiness will be the best relic to have equipped. Next unit is Mami Holy. Mami is one of the new units added in this update 13.5, with her being one of the best ground units added in this update, as at later upgrades, she will be able to hit both air and ground enemies. Mami Holy stats on max upgrade and max level are 193,285 damage with her SPA at 9 seconds, making her damage per second at 21,476.15, which is insanely good, especially she has such a large AoE circle, which she will be able to attack more enemies than the others, and with her being a multi-hit at later upgrades, making Mami strong against shield enemies. Mami Holy's damage types are magic and light. Okay, next unit is Itachi Susanu. Itachi is still one of the best burning unit in this update 13.5, especially when paired with Mangekyo Eye Relic. Itachi will be more stronger than he is. Itachi Susanu stats at max upgrade and max level are 63,784 damage, with Itachi's burning doing 63,784 damage, along with his SPA at 6.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 19,625 with burn. Itachi have two power types, magic and fire. Itachi will do 2 times the damage against ice opponents. An alternative trait you can go for is Endeavor Hellflame. Endeavor is one of the difficult units you can evolve since you have to continuously defeat the My Hero Academia Legend stages, which are difficult to do, so I recommend playing with friends to make the grind easier. Endeavor Hellflame stats at max level and max upgrade are 151,867 damage, with his burning doing 75,848 damage, along with his SPA at 10 seconds, making his damage per second at 22,781 with burning. Endeavor Hellflame will do 2 times the damage against ice opponents, and his damage types are magic and fire. Alright, next unit is Shigaruko Symbol of Fear. Shigaraki is still one of the best ground and support units in this update 13.5. Shigaruko Symbol of Fear stats at max level and max upgrade are 74,552 damage, with his SPA at 7.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 9,940.39, which is insanely good for a support unit. Shigaruko does DK damage over 3 ticks and up to 18 ticks at max upgrade, which DK stops regeneration enemies, and his DK damage doing 120% true damage at later upgrades. DK will be good against magic resistance enemies and physical resistant enemies, as he is a magic unit. Shigaraki is one of the hardest units to evolve, as you have to continuously defeat the My Hero Academia Legend stages in this update 13.5, which are difficult to do, especially if you are playing them solo. Shigaruko is meta for leaderboard runs, especially with his full AoE DK, and it will deal true damage, which is insanely strong. Okay, next unit is Gyutaru Moon. Gyutaru is one of the best ground unit in this update 13.5. Gyutaru Moon stats at max level and max upgrade are 126,786 damage, with his SPA at 8 seconds, making his damage per second at 15,848.25. This does not include the crit damage he does against bleeding enemies. At later upgrades, he will become a multi-hit unit, making him do well against shield enemies, as well as having the Lost Vein Relic equipped on Gyutaru Moon will make him insanely strong, and pairing him with a bleeding unit, he will turn into an overpower unit. Especially when pairing Gyutaru Moon with Daki Obi is going to be the best combo units. Daki Obi stats at max level and max upgrade are 86,978.41 damage, with her bleeding doing 34,791.37 damage, with a 8 seconds SPA, making her damage per second at 15,221.22, including bleeding. Bleeding units are insanely strong against regen enemies, as the enemies won't be able to regen while bleeding. You can definitely use Daki Obi as a support when you have Gyutaru Moon in your team. Daki Obi at later upgrades will become a multi-hit, making her good against shield enemies. That was everything for this video on the top 10 best ground units in update 13.5. I hope this video helped you in some sort of way. Remember to subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye bye. Bye bye.